I became psychologically weak. What happened to me? I was strong, emotionally flexible and strong. But today you're no longer the same person. You feel weak and frustrated and you think you've turned into a completely different person. Has this ever happened to you? Let me start by telling you this is a very common issue. A lot of strong people, like you, go through the same subtle transformation. See how your beliefs and interests affect your perception. They start their lives with a lot of power and then suddenly something happens along the way that changes their perception of who they are. The first good news is you never changed. What could have just happened was a change in your beliefs and your perception of the world. If there's anything fixed in life, it's going to change. Given the changing circumstances around us, our beliefs can also change, so we might end up believing that we've become quite different people. See also how I can find myself again. Failure to adapt to life's problems. The most common reason for this problem is failure to adapt to new life changes. Let me give you an example. If you were the smartest student in school, but when you started working, you found that your performance was bad compared to your coworkers, this problem might start to emerge. In such a case, your explanation for this event, your plan of action and your overall attitude to what's going on, will determine whether you think you've changed for the worse or are going through this stage successfully. Now if the first case happens and you start to think that you've changed, you're probably going to lose the motivation to fix your life because after all you'll think what's happening to you is normal and unavoidable. The first thing you have to do in this situation is realize that no matter how broken you feel right now, you're still the strong person you've always been before and that you just need to work on adjusting your beliefs to restore your old self. Visiting old wounds. It may involve getting yourself back into some pain, but eventually it'll work. Your decision to face this pain is the most important step you must take to revive your old self again. You might wonder why this process involves pain. The source of this pain comes from the fact that you're going to have to examine those wounds that you've formed over the years, which has made you think you've become weak and powerless. Start analyzing those situations that have led you to feel the feelings you have today. Some may be from a distant past, while some may have happened recently. After that, you need to know how your belief system has changed as a result of those attitudes. Then you need to work on fixing it again. Yeah, it's gonna be painful because you're gonna have to face the things you've been trying so hard to escape. But the good news is that after you get to a solution you'll get your old self back. And if you still want to avoid pain, remind yourself that staying that way will bring you more pain. How do I find myself again? Are you feeling lost? Many people ask themselves this question every day. How do I find myself? When I ask anyone who asks this question to explain what they mean by finding themselves, most people fail to find the right words just because they don't really understand what's happening. It's the people who want to find themselves who usually don't know who they are. The problem is not usually finding themselves again, but it's all about understanding who they are in the first place. About 1 in 10 people, if not less, can explain the reasons behind their feelings. The problem with emotions is that many people get lost inside without being able to look through them. When things go well, the person, who doesn't understand himself, feels satisfied and therefore doesn't think he's lost. When things really get worse, the same person, who still doesn't understand himself, feels lost. The main reason for these feelings is not knowing what he really wants in life. Lack of understanding of bad feelings. You don't know how to be happy. All these symptoms are one problem: lack of self-understanding. What self-understanding really means: most people claim that they fully understand themselves. Many people claim that they can understand people well. But once these people feel bad, they become completely powerless. To understand yourself means to first realize your needs and your desires, because many of the feelings you face every day are strongly linked to those needs. But in order to understand those needs, you also have to understand your goals and